Anyway, please get out of here. Oh, come on, YouTube, don't make me start you again. Oh, I think I'm going to do that. Right. Well, I want my YouTube on my laptop here for because I need it for the comments. And I need to put text chat on. Or class settings. Because, you know, comments speech. Yay! Okay. Right, we've got that working. We can finally do this. Just make sure that's off. Cool. Continue. I had a look at the trophies, and there's only 5 parts, so we've only got 2 chapters left. I forgot what I'm supposed to be doing. Alright, let's go way up there. Plus IO Corp. What items have I got? Those damn headphones. Hello, you one person. Thanks for joining. Oh, I've got so much. Right. Get up there. Thank you.
Here we are. The COS.io Corporation office building.
Good choice.
It looks like most of the businesses on this block are a part of the same corporate coalition under COS.io.
Wait, hold on a second. Okay.
Well, perhaps. At the very least, it means it's unlikely they're the ones interfering with Augmented Eye's articles.
Okay, I have got...
Not impossible, but unlikely. That makes sense.
I just open the door.
The meshnet says Augmented Eye's SF office is run by an individual named Zin, and Tomcat confirmed she's expecting us.
Okay.
All we have to do now is head up and talk to her. No shenanigans this time.
I try not to pull shenanigans. I can't always promise that. Are you Zin? Oh, that's Zin. Right, okay, I just want to have... Whoa!
Maybe later if you find something educational. Or an adventure game. Your investigative skills could use a tickle.
Shush. Let's go talk to Zin. See what she has to say for us.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Augmented Eye. You must be the journalist my network admin said would be showing up.
You sound a little bit like Seattle from Black Butler.
Have a seat. Would you like a drink?
Sure, why not?
My assistant will bring it right away. Look, I'll start off by saying I'm a little uncomfortable about bringing in another journalist to look into this. Whatever you dig up, I'll have to explain to the rest of the press. But it's still better than the other options.
Okay, right.
Chances are I have another corporation scoping out my territory. If they aren't in the coalition, they'll be expecting a corporate spy, not a news hound. If they are in the coalition, it won't look good for me to send in my own reporters against my allies. Even if I do end up being right. So if I'm damned either way, I'd rather it be by the media. At least then we can fight back on a familiar battlefield. Now, what do you know about our problem here? That's the long and short of it. My network admin is pulling their hair out over it. I'm not going to pretend I understand everything they say, but from what I understand, the changes to our articles aren't being made from inside our network. The versions on our servers are still the originals, but at some point after they hit the mesh, they get changed. I'm hoping that you can do some digging, maybe hit up your contacts and get a lead on who might be doing it.
Shush for a second, I just had Apex Legends download. That's why the black box came up. So...
Even if I have to get answers from the nightly news, it will be a big help.
I really hope this is not one of those dialogue ones, because I'm getting really annoyed with the dialogue ones.
I guess I'm not, but my network admin assures me it's all coming from somewhere else. They told me that they tore out all of the routers that broadcast to the mesh and replaced them with fresh ones. All kinds of tricks involving IP addresses and DNS changes that I'm not going to even begin to claim to understand.
I'm gonna begin to, I'm gonna pretend I know what IP addresses and DNS changes are, because I should know what they mean. I
pay them big bucks, so I'm inclined to believe them, unless you dig up something that tells me otherwise.
I know IP addresses are vaguely to do with where your computer is.
Not really. My admin says that only someone with intimate access to Parallax's network protocols could make these kind of changes as something passes across the net.
I have a Parallax thing, like I have a Parallax ID
Personally,
card.
I think it's a clever hacker rather than someone inside Parallax itself.
Ugh.
The public trust rating of Parallax makes them look like a saint among wolves, so their control over the mesh network provisions is strangling. It's trivially easy to set up ROMs to use a different OS than LIPS or a different meshnet protocol without that trust. Or, you know, Parallax is abusing its power to spread pro-tech propaganda. Doubtful they need to. I'm sure you'll be a good journo and bring me back the right answer. Mostly little things. Word choice, tone of the writing, things that make the writer appear more or less extreme on a topic. So far, almost all of the edits seem to be making our articles more positive on new technologies coming out, and more critical of organizations like the Human Revolution. That's actually what tipped us off. A harsh criticism one of my writers made about the Human Revolution protests was changed to be downright vitriolic, and I had a hell of a time putting out the fires. My writers and readers aren't exactly fans of them, but I'd rather not pick fights with the Human Revolution if I don't have to. I know tin hat conspiracies aren't an ideal start, but it's the best we can do with the info we have. Anything else I can tell you, off the record? If you want it on the record, it'll cost you your firstborn and a really good cigar.
I have neither.
Alright, look. I wasn't going to tell you this. If it gets out, I'd have to answer some really hard questions. So, you didn't hear this from me. You might want to go check out TMI Entertainment and Charlie Nova. That's all I'll say. And remember, you take a bite out of him with my name as your defense, I drop you fast.
Okay.
Like what? There isn't much more I can tell you about Augmented Eye, really. It's a fairly simple and straightforward operation, if I say so myself. We started off in Venezuela as a sleek current events and news organization in 2055. Almost 10 years ago now.
You've got to be kidding me.
We focus on more in-depth reporting of on-the-street happenings, on top of major news. We are one of the few good ones left. Once folks in other cities saw the type of reporting we do, they all clamored for it.
Apologies, my
They
phone
invested in the right
started
places
ringing
and it paid
was
off.
rather loud.
COS-IO Corp is happy to have us here in the OSF. It wasn't until hybrid tech started hitting the public
Call me
sphere
back, I'm
that we
not
had to
going
make
to,
any
Arthur.
changes to our model. All of that said, I can't see why anyone would target us. Unless they're just trying to embroil us in a mudslinging match with the human revolution, and there are much more direct ways of making that happen.
I'm gonna ask that person if they could possibly text instead of call.
What? Not wanting to answer prying questions from my coalition board isn't a good enough reason? Cause I'd really like to avoid that. And look, you've covered culture wars, right? My journalists are good, but they're mostly good at gadget reviews, implant releases, not taking too many stims so they remember what they did at raves for the after-party reports. This needs an investigative journalist with serious contacts, not tech personalities. The fact that my network admin recommended you to me means you probably know the right people. Now, does that cover it? I'd like to remove my nose from your ass.
That's gross.
No, don't bother. In hindsight, I probably should have been a bit more circumspect about speaking to you. Plausible deniability and all that. I won't ask you to lie in anything you write, but do remember you got in contact with me not even second-hand, but third-hand. I certainly didn't sick you on anyone. Wink wink, nudge nudge, or whatever. If you need anything else, have your person get with my person. Don't come here directly. Now, I'd show you the door, but you know the way. And this isn't the only fire I'm trying to put out. Good luck, and goodbye.
Well, that was more confrontational than I'd have expected, considering she was the one needing help. She never brought you that water, either.
Oh yes, you didn't. Thanks for reminding
Is
me.
it always like this?
I will be with you in a second. I'm like halfway through a text, sorry.
Very true. I will admit that I am interested in the possibility of a link back to Parallax.
There we go.
If all of this really is due to somebody manipulating the mesh net on the inside, it may give us the leverage we need to find out what happened to Hayden once and for all.
Shut up, Vodafone. No one needs to know about you.
That said, I will take care not to get my hopes up. We should make no assumptions when investigating, lest we lead ourselves down a false path. Anyway, seems like our next step is... What the...
What? What? Was? Who are you? Oh no, he's got... Oh no, 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 no! The rising back fall all over again.
What the... That's Sin!
What?
It's too late. Considering the angle and height of the fall, rendering suitable aid is beyond our capabilities now. Your desire is laudable, but emergency services are already on the way. They will assist her as much as they can. We should head back to her office and see if we can determine what happened here.
She's my friend, let me through.
Perhaps we can still dispense justice. This is how we dispense justice, right?
Sure.
It looks like the desk has been cleared off.
That's moved. That was over there.
Let's take a look around, but be careful not to disturb any evidence.
Yeah, I'm gonna
The
stop.
police will be here soon. Her personal computer is not password protected at the moment. Give me a moment to look through her files. Best to keep your fingerprints off of the keyboard. Most of this isn't very interesting. Committee reports, financials, article submissions. Oh, here we go. According to this email between Zin and her network admin, her lead on TMI Entertainment is a little more solid than she led us to believe.
Oh, she lying.
Admin ran a web crawler looking for changes in writing styles. Some blog posts by their head anchor Charlie Nova stood out like a sore thumb.
Oh, Tumblr, what you doing?
Apparently he's a bit pompous, if in an affable way, and his blog usually just details his day-to-day life. But ever since the human revolution has been in town, he's been smearing them with more venom than you'd expect, considering how neutral his on-air reporting has been. Zin seemed to think he was just complaining about the protesters fouling up traffic, and whoever is manipulating these posts spun it to make him look critical of the movement as a whole. Just like the augmented eye journalist. This Charlie fellow is the one we need to talk to.
2064, redoning memories. Yeah. Good.